Hey guys, it's Victor, Give Me a Break Man for J News. This is a series I do here on YouTube introducing some breaking Japanese news and teaching you some vocabulary for those of you who are interested in Japanese. I save that for the end of the lesson, or the end of the video. The beginning is just me babbling about things I'm not really qualified to talk about. Today's subject especially, but it's, it's YouTube, what do you want? Today's subject especially, it's a story that's been dragging out for months. It centers on a woman named Obokata, quite a cute woman, and she's a researcher, and she's taken the whole scientific world by storm. And this is one of the few countries where you would ever see a scientist become the darling or the talk of the town. Everyone just loves her. She did such a great thing. She created this new way to make STAP cells. What are STAP cells? I don't really know. I've read it, even in English, I don't quite get it. But and she published a big paper in Nature magazine and won a bunch of awards and accolades, blah blah blah. But long story short, she can't seem to back up what she wrote. No one can seem to replicate her experiment. And they looked at her thesis, her ronbun, and nobody can back it up. They basically said, "You're sloppy. You're not a good scientist." And she's hanging her head in shame, along with all the people who worked with her. And today, this morning, just a few hours ago, one of the chief writers of that thesis, his name is Yoshiki Sasai, was found dead. He committed suicide. I don't think there's any question about that. He left a will, or an isho, and they found his body hanging at 9 a.m. in a stair at the flat area between stairs, which is called an odoriba, which is a bit strange. I mention that to you because it's a bit strange. The word odoriba literally means dancing place. But when you walk down the stairs, you have a flat area, and then you walk down some more stairs. I guess that's what they call it. I guess you could walk down, dance, walk down, dance. But anyway, not to make light of this, he was found dead. He committed suicide. They tried to revive him, took him to the hospital, but there was nothing they could do. He was dead. Well, one thing that has always interested me is suicide. Of course, many of us as teenagers have thought about suicide. Suicide has often been glamorized, by Romeo and Juliet. Oh, it's so romantic, and no, life is meaningless, life is terrible. Kids often have that idea. It's silly, our hormones are taking over. So of course I had that very short period in my life where I thought, suicide, yeah, I'm going to do it someday. But not really, of course not. And I've grown out of that since then, thank God. And I've come to think suicide is basically stupid and a coward's way out. However, the more I talk with you guys on YouTube and the conversations we have in the comment section, I realize that it's not such a cut and dried answer. It's not so simple. I still don't think it's a viable solution or an acceptable solution, but I understand that it's not so simple. Anyway, here's something that's interesting about what's happening in Japan. Japan, as all of you probably know, if you know anything about Japan, Japan is known for its suicides. The last 3 years, however, suicides have been going down. Rates are down, and I think a couple of years ago they finally broke the 30,000 suicide mark, meaning less than 30,000 people committed suicide, which is amazing because I think it's almost the same as the U.S. But of course, U.S. population is much higher. Another interesting, of course, the attitudes about suicides are different. In Japan, it's often being considered a kind of honorable thing to do in certain situations. Suicide. Of course, you all know about World War II and the Zeros and people just flying their airplanes into battleships and crap like that. Of course, that's different. Or instead of being captured, the honorable route is to commit suicide. If you watch movies like 47 Ronin, when you dishonor your family name, the honorable thing is to commit suicide. But of course, that's not really happening these days. A lot of it, there are many different reasons why people commit suicide. And a lot of things are happening right now that are kind of interlocking. Like, it was just discovered a few days ago that in Osaka, in the last, I believe 5 years, over the last 5 years, the police underreported 81,000 crimes. Some of those even murders, which may have been mislabeled as suicides. I'm thinking, of course, I don't have any, I didn't read anything about that, but I think it's a fair assumption to make that, if you're going to cover up a murder, just say it's suicide, right? Anyway, here's the good news. Can you believe, is there good news? Here's the good news. In 2007, the government, this is from Wikipedia, the government released a white paper. I always thought that was a strange name, but a white paper, and they're hoping to reduce the number of suicides, and they're putting money into it. So by the year 2017, they hope to reduce the number of suicides by 20%, which is an amazing number. And Finland did it. Finland used to be high on the suicide rate. I don't know exactly what they did, but they've gone way down in suicides. So it can be done. obviously. And they're pumping $133 million a year into anti-suicide prevention. This says suicide prevention assets. I don't know exactly what that means. I hope not t-shirts or anything. Don't kill yourself. But hopefully it will work. Anyway, that's basically the story. And the connection to suicide, which I thought was interesting. Because it makes you think, right? It makes you think. Anyway, here's the vocabulary for those of you who are studying Japanese. I'm going to link you to an ANN News channel video, which is really short but really hard. It's only a minute, but it's got a lot of vocabulary. I'm going to go through it really quick. Okay, the first word is super long. It's amazing. Look at this. Ready? I'm going to try to read the kanji. Okay. Rikagaku, kenkyuujo, saisei. Is that right? Hassei, saisei, kagaku, sougou, kenkyuu Center. Did I say that right? Let me read the English now. Rikagaku, kenkyuujo, hassei, saisei, kagaku, sougou, kenkyuu Center. I did it. Okay, good. Woo! Number two, kenkyuujo, which is a researcher. And we have ronbun, which is a thesis. Now, the organization that we're talking about here is called Riken. Riken, that's the name of the organization. The murder happened in Koube, Shinai, which is in the city of Kobe. The name of the man who killed himself is Sasai Yoshiki. And you'll notice at the end of this word it says shi, which is basically Mr. But I rarely ever hear it in daily conversation. They never say Sasai Yoshiki shi. They say san, usually. He was the Fuku Senta Cho, which is the director deputy of the Riken Center for Developmental Biology. Jisatsu, of course, as we learned on this channel many times, is suicide. They confirmed his death, which is shibou kakunin, yes, shibou ga kakunin saremashita, or just the regular verb, which is why I stumbled. Which one did I give you? I'll give you both. Shibou ga kakunin suru. So to confirm someone's death, shibou ga kakunin suru. In the middle of the video that you will hopefully click and watch, they say chuke desu, which means we go live to, or direct broadcast, literal meaning. Shippitsu suru, which is to write something, a bit formal. Usually we say kaku, but in this case shippitsu suru. Shippitsu suru. Chushin jinbutsu no hitori. This is the one person in the middle of this. So basically one of the central figures in this scandal. Chushin jinbutsu no hitori. Okay. Keisatsu nado ni yorimasu to. Nainai ni yorimasu to, blah blah ni no yorimasu means according to. Keisatsu, of course, is police. In this case, they say keisatsu nado. Nado means etc. So we can assume, according to police and other sources, odoriba, which I mentioned earlier, adoriba de, at the landing of the stairs. Kubi o tsuru, which is to hang yourself. In this case, in the program, in the video, you will hear kubi o tsutteru. Hakken, which is discovery. When you find something, hakken, I found it. Tsuho saremashita, it was reported. Tsuho suru is to report something. Byoin is hospital. Byoin ni hakobareru, to take someone to the hospital, to be taken to the hospital. Byoin ni hakobareru, in past tense, hakobareta. Here's a new word for me, kyumei shochi. Kyumei shochi, life-saving measures. So they took life-saving measures on Mr. Sasai, but it didn't work. He left a will, or an isho. Tokatsu is to unify. So he was the unifying person among the researchers, one of the unifying persons. Tokatsu. Shidou suru is to guide. He was guiding people. Data no seito. This was really difficult for me. I had to listen like 10 times to get this one. Data no seito seikakusei. So data no seito seikakusei. Legitimacy, I can't even say it in English. Legitimacy and accuracy of data. They were checking that. Mizukara means oneself. And if you're learning Japanese, a lot of beginners think mizu means water, right? But no, this is a different mizukara, by myself, or by oneself. Toko suru is to post or submit. When you submit something or post something, it's called toko suru. Sekenin, of course, is responsibility. Judai is importance or seriousness, and shiteki suru is to point something out. And that's your lesson and your video for today. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I don't know, tell me what you think about this whole thing. If you're following the story, some of you I know, I've been asked many times to make a video about this. I've just got too many things to do. I didn't want to make this one so quickly because I just put up a really fun and uplifting video. I thought, check my last video if you want to see something a little less dark. And check out that video. Thanks for watching, guys. My name is Victor. Give me a break, man, and I'll talk to you guys soon.